You get a car, you get a car, you get a car. I've really, truly always wanted to say that. But really, one person is getting a brand new car today. Find out who soon, because New Day Northwest starts right now.
It's a new day.
Now, from the Virginia Mason Franciscan Health Studio at King 5 in downtown Seattle, this is New Day Northwest.
Hi, I'm Kelly Hansen and welcome to New Day. I'm getting right to cooking this morning and I'm choosing to eat my dessert first, and I'm not mad about it at all. Self-taught pastry chef Justin Burke credits his first queer potluck with changing his life, and now a potluck pro. He's the author of the just released Potluck Desserts, Joyful Recipes to Share with Pride, and he's here in the kitchen. Hello.
Hello, Kelly. How are you?
Oh my gosh, I'm so good now because I have the world's biggest sweet tooth. So,
Okay, well,
you know, some people might be upset that they're having this for breakfast, lunch, but not me.
Well, this is definitely going to satisfy the sweet tooth.
Yay! Okay, what are we making? What is this cake called?
All right, so we're gonna make not safe for work cake. Some people might know it as better than sex cake.
Oh.
But as an 8-year-old, when I was introduced to that, I was traumatized as a child, and so I renamed it so no other child would go through what I went through.
Well, thank you for
Yeah.
that. Okay.
So right now we have, I made the cake, and this is just a dark chocolate cake. Instead of using like hot water or hot milk to give it moisture, I used freshly brewed hot coffee.
Interesting.
So that's gonna wake up the chocolate and just make it very prominent. And it's also going to help with the leavening agents like baking powder, baking soda, because coffee is naturally acidic. That's gonna chemically do its science thing and then give it oomph.
Well, it's going to give me an for sure.
Yes.
Okay.
So while I am caramelizing, and I'll talk about this in a minute, if you want to take the back of this wooden spoon and poke 75 holes through there,
75 holes.
because we're going to pour this caramelized sweetened condensed milk over it, because it's a poke cake.
Okay, and you could use, really, you have like a couple
Yep,
options
so
here,
you
but
can
you
use
like
the
this
back
one.
of the wooden spoon. You can use wooden dowels, chopsticks, whatever you have will work.
And you're going all the way down,
All
right?
the way
I guess I
down.
didn't fully ask that. I just started poking.
No, that's great. No, it's perfect. So while you're doing that, I am going to work on the caramel that we're going to drizzle over this. So we're going to put 1 can of sweetened condensed milk over low heat. This is going to take about 15 minutes. You just want to continuously stir it because it's going to caramelize it. The fat solids in there are going to start turning like a golden brown. It's going to reduce and thicken.
How do you make sure you don't burn that then? Just the stirring?
Keep
Is that
stirring.
okay?
Keep stirring,
stirring,
low and
stirring, low and
then
you got to be patient with that.
And then we're going to pour the other can of sweetened condensed milk in there.
Yum. I had a few, you know, little mishaps.
That's fine.
Is that normal?
That's totally normal.
But I feel like I could just
It's
eat
a moist
that
cake.
and taste
It's a moist
it.
cake. It's gonna stick, and yeah, like you just said, you have snacks.
Yum.
Then we're
While
gonna,
you're cooking.
Yeah. Then we're gonna add butter, and this is just gonna help keep everything together, emulsify. And you're gonna stir that.
Ooh.
And then I'm gonna turn this off so we don't burn it.
Again, low and slow. And
Yep.
why did you want to make a desserts-only cookbook?
That's a great question. So I'm a self-taught pastry chef. It was a complete career change for me when I was 30.
Wow.
I was in peace building for nonprofits, and I had always wanted to be a pastry chef. And being a peace builder is very emotional. So I walked into a restaurant and said, I want to be a pastry chef, start me anywhere. So I taught myself with cookbooks, and I just learned. I absorbed everything, and Potluck Desserts, it's my first cookbook, and you know, my first queer potluck is when I moved away from home and I met my chosen family, and it was when I was starting to understand who I was and explore. So it was kismet to bring all that together, and the recipes are very homey. I mean, these are the recipes that I taught myself that became a pastry chef. So hopefully there are more than one book. So we're just gonna pour this over.
Okay. So you think this is just the start then?
This is just the start. So if you want to pour that over.
Okay, yes. Put me to work. And what's over there?
So
that
we
looks
have,
like whipped cream.
It is whipped cream, but it's
Deliciousness.
unsweetened whipped cream.
Oh.
If I can get it out. Okay. Well,
And why did you want to go with the unsweetened?
so everything in here is so sugary, so you don't want to have a sugar shock. So unsweetened whipped cream is
yes.
going to mellow everything out. So you're gonna
Oh
spread
my
that
gosh.
out.
The smell here is just like, it's like caramel, chocolate, butter. Like I'm getting all
So
the
once you
senses.
spread that all out, you're gonna put that in the refrigerator to sit overnight, at least 1 hour if you're impatient. And
Okay,
that's-
but the best result
best
would
is
be
overnight.
if
Yeah,
you
for
can.
sure.
Okay.
And then you're gonna chop up some toffee candy bars.
Oh, wow.
And then once it's cool, you're gonna sprinkle that all over it and then serve
Oh my
at
goodness.
your next potluck.
I was gonna say this would really wow people at the next potluck I go to for sure.
And then you just sprinkle however you want. I like to do around the edges.
Ooh.
And then we have a piece for you to
I
try.
know, and you want to make sure that I'm hitting the caramel in there.
Yeah, you want to get all the pieces.
Yes. What other dishes are you absolutely loving in your cookbook while I'm tasting this? I cannot wait.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of my chocolate cherry soda cake.
Oh, what?
So it's very retro. We use maraschino cherries. We use the maraschino cherry liquid to make the buttercream, so it's like super pink. How is it? Good?
This is so good. This is
Awesome.
absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
Sorry, keep going. Yeah, my
Yeah.
eyes, I was like, what is happening?
You're like, this is the only recipe. No, so that one and the butterscotch oatmeal cookie bars. So I put molasses in it, and it's just this dark caramelized. I love more savory part of desserts, so it's gonna have that like dark caramelization, more of the earthy warm notes, instead of like traditional cookies that are just like sugar and chocolate.
Yeah.
And then my all-time favorite is, which kind of inspired the recipes for the book, is called Shirley's Cake. It was from one of my grandmother's best friends. She would always come down from Oregon, and she'd make this cake. It's a mandarin orange cake with a pineapple frosting, and it's just makes me happy every time I have it.
These are all, they sound like mouth-watering. This cake, I'm just gonna keep eating this cake while we're chatting. It's so good. It's so light and decadent, but like you said, the whipped cream
Yeah.
really helps like just balance out
Yeah.
the whole flavor profile. Delicious.
Glad you like it.
You were talking to earlier about your first potluck, and when I think about potlucks, I think about gathering and community. And so is that really what you were looking for when you moved? Can you just kind of speak to why you love potluck so much?
Yeah, I think when I moved out of my hometown, you know, I grew up in a very conservative town, and so I didn't really understand who I was. I knew there was something different about me, and I didn't align with the folks I grew up with. And so when I moved out on my own, I started meeting new people. And that first potluck, I met so many different people, and they were so welcoming, and they didn't judge. They allowed me to take my time. You know, I was 18, and really, they just nurtured and fostered that self-awareness and exploration. And everywhere I moved, I mean, I lived in Boston for 13 years, and I established a huge chosen family. I mean, we rarely went home for the holidays, and our holidays were together. So I think it's really important because a lot of, in the queer community, that's where we keep our history. It's in the food and that legacy of exchanging. Like if you had this, you're like, this is amazing.
It
Who
is.
made it?
It's
I want the
amazing.
recipe. And then I would tell you my narrative of like, oh, this is the story behind it. And now you know Justin, and you go on to your next potluck and you make it, and then you add yourself to that story. So it just builds on, and I think that's the most beautiful thing about queer potlucks in general, but in the queer community, it's very delicate and special to us.
Well, this is so special to me to meet you
Great.
and to taste your amazing dessert. Thank you so much for being here
Yeah,
today.
thank you.
And Justin will be sharing his desserts and chatting with everyone at the Seattle Baking Club on Saturday afternoon, June 14th. The event will be at Stoop Brewing on Capitol Hill from 3 to 5, and details will be on our website. And next up, the wait is finally over. We're about to announce our new Hyundai hometown hero this morning. Later in the show, meet the winner and see the emotional reaction to winning a fabulous new Hyundai Santa Fe. Plus, it's an interview juicier than a housewife's confessional. The Watch What Crappens podcast is here ahead of their live show tonight at the Neptune. But first, Seattle native and author Caroline Fraser traces the possible connection between a now closed smelter in Tacoma and serial killers, including Ted Bundy. Stay with us.
The New Day Northwest Kitchen is brought to you by Safeway.
Our next guest is a Pulitzer Prize winning author whose latest book is as haunting as it is groundbreaking. Seattle native Caroline Fraser takes us deep into the dark heart of the Pacific Northwest during the 1970s and 80s. It was a time when the region was gripped by a terrifying wave of serial killers. Think Ted Bundy and the Green River Killer, but this isn't just another true crime story. Fraser weaves together memoir, environmental history, and cultural critique to ask a chilling question. What if the violence wasn't just random, but rooted in the very soil and air of the place itself? And Caroline joins me now. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So take us back to the 70s, 80s, and 90s, if you will, in the Pacific Northwest. What was happening as it related to the serial killer, landscape?
Well, we didn't realize it at the time, but it was a period when violent crime was rising higher than it ever had before in this country. The rate of violent crime, and it was rising higher in places like Tacoma. And within that statistic, there were a number of serial killers, and more than we had seen before. I mean, I think they've always historically been a phenomenon that occurs very rarely, but we started seeing more and more serial killers during that time.
Yeah, and in your book, you have a premise that environmental factors played a part. So if you wouldn't mind telling me about that.
Yeah, I mean, there was always this question, why are there so many serial killers in the Pacific Northwest? And when I started looking at this and doing some research into it, I was wondering about that. Is it just an urban myth, or is it a real thing? And the more I found out about what was going on, especially in Tacoma with a smelter there. I mean, there were many, many industries in Tacoma around Commencement Bay, but that smelter had been there since the 1890s and was putting a lot of lead into the air. And the thing that you have to know about lead is that if you're exposed to it, even in relatively small amounts as a child, that can result later in life in greater aggression, violence even. And so that was something I started looking at closely.
And is that using Bundy as kind of an example when we're talking about the smelter in Tacoma as a premise?
Yes, definitely, because he grew up in Tacoma for the most part. He wasn't born there, but grew up there, and like every other address in Tacoma and North Tacoma especially, you can see how much lead and arsenic was in his front yard and his backyard by looking at this GIS map that was produced by the Department of Ecology.
Gosh, and what about other well-known serial killers? Does this premise work with others that you can think of too?
Yeah, well, I looked closely at Gary Ridgway, who was the Green River Killer, also from that same area. Grew up right next to SeaTac. And you start to see a lot of these guys growing up either in neighborhoods that were near a smelter or maybe next to a major highway, or both. Because at the time, of course, unleaded gas was sold in large quantities to everybody. Everybody was using it. And so that too was filling the air with lead.
Yeah, and so you're not saying that a spike in toxic chemicals is the main reason people are serial killers, but it's something to look at. Is that fair?
Yeah, it's definitely a factor, I think. I think a lot of things go into creating a serial killer, including whatever was happening in their home life, abuse, or sometimes brain damage of different kinds, CTE, head trauma. A lot of different things can contribute to this. But I think that lead may be a factor that we haven't looked at before.
Okay. And what recollections do you have of that time, when we were really fearing Bundy and other sensational crimes? Can you think back to that?
Yeah, I mean, I was 13 in 1974, living on Mercer Island. And I remember that year, especially remember the weekend in July of when Bundy took 2 women from Lake Sammamish on a very busy, hot Sunday afternoon. These 2 women disappeared. Nobody knew who he was then. But it was a really frightening and troubling time.
Definitely. And it's been noted that women are overwhelmingly the audience for true crime. I can attest to that, at least for myself. Do you agree, and why would that be?
Yeah, I mean, true crime has really evolved from sort of its really sort of more sleazy origins in the 1950s and 60s, when it was in true crime detective magazines that were sold in drugstores. And it's evolved, I think, into something that's mainly produced and consumed by women. I think because there are so many concerns about personal safety, about security. Women say that they want to learn from true crime. They want to learn how to protect themselves. Whether true crime helps with that or not is a big question, but I think that that's a big motivating factor.
Makes complete sense. Thank you so much for being here today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And Caroline will be at Town Hall Seattle tonight, Thursday, June 12th. Doors open at 6:30 for that 7 p.m. event, and you can get tickets on the Town Hall's website. And next up, the tea is hot, the shade is cool, and the impressions are sharper than a housewife's reunion dress. I have Ben Mandelker here from Watch What Crappens podcast in studio ahead of his live show tonight at the Neptune. Bravo fans, brace yourselves because the human hurricane of housewives hot takes is sitting right next to me. Ben Mandelker is the co-host of the wildly popular Watch What Crappens podcast, and he and his partner in snark, Ronnie, are in Seattle for a live show tonight at the Neptune Theater, and you know it's going to be absolutely iconic. Ben, welcome to New Day.
Thank you so much. The human hurricane of hot takes is a meteorological thing I didn't even know I could be, and I'm so excited for it.
Maybe we should, change your graphic on screen. That should be your...
Yeah, I'll have that little S thing,
Yes.
I'm coming into town category 4.
First, we want to start with a little rumor that was happening in Seattle. We had a bunch of rumors that we were getting Real Housewives show.
Okay.
Sadly, nothing came about that. What do you think we need to do? Do we need to kiss up to someone?
Have you checked in on your plastic surgeons? Have they been, maybe they need to up their surgery levels or something like that. I'm not sure. I mean, I feel like Pacific Northwest would be like a really good space. You got all the tech here. You've got like Microsoft and Nintendo and Amazon. So I don't know why. Feels like there's money. So maybe this could be the next, maybe it's just like, it's not now, but it's coming soon. Maybe, hopefully.
I'm crossing my fingers, and I'm happy that you weren't like, no, you guys are boring. You think that it could survive here.
Hello? No, of course not.
You've been referred to as gay podcasting royalty as well. How does that feel to have that kind of status?
It feels great. I mean, it's Pride Month, so I love being gay podcasting royalty during Pride. It makes me feel special, but it's actually very meaningful. And we've been doing the podcast for 13 years. I like to say this is our bar mitzvah year because we're 13 years old, and we've been doing it for a very long time. So it feels really special to sort of be at that place where people look to us, whatever. But we still think at the end of the day, my co-host Ronnie, who's flying in on a plane right now. We just we get together on Zoom basically every day, and we just chat. And it's so weird to think that this little talking with your friend is going out to thousands of people, and they're like, oh my God, gay podcast royalty.
It's so cool, and you guys do such a good job. You're a Los Angeles guy, so what do you think about Rachel Zoe joining the Beverly Hills cast?
That's such an interesting casting choice. I mean, for us as a podcast, we love it because we love to make fun of people's voices and everything. And Rachel Zoe, bananas, I die. I literally die. I mean, we're gonna have fun with that.
I remember that. Yes, you guys really are.
But in terms of her as a housewife, I'm not sure. She's so low key, and sometimes that works. Dolores on New Jersey is very low key, and she works like a charm. So I don't know about Rachel Zoe though. Sometimes Bravo falls into a pitfall of focusing a little bit too much on fashion rather than drama. So I guess we'll see what happens with her. But, I'm cautiously optimistic.
Okay, yeah, we need to bring the drama for sure. We need
Yes.
some flipping of the tables.
Please.
Thoughts on the new Rhode Island franchise?
I am so excited.
You are?
I am so excited. People don't realize Rhode Island has all sorts of lunatics in it. And I say that with respect. I have many friends from Rhode Island, but there was a show on Bravo called Game of Crowns, and it was about like middle-aged women doing beauty pageants, and most of them were from Rhode Island, and I'm telling you, it was amazing. And so if we can get more of that energy on Real Housewives of Rhode Island, I am all for it.
It's going to be a must-watch then.
Yes, 100%.
New York has been plagued with a bunch of problems. What do you think the deal is with this?
I don't know. It makes me so sad.
You're like, I need to go. I need a moment.
Thank you for having me. I honestly, like, Old School Roni was my all-time favorite and continues to be my all-time favorite.
Right.
It's just so special. And they made this pivot, and they decided to go from baddie women from the Upper East Side to, like, young, like, fashionistas, influencers. And I'm like, I don't care about them. I don't want to peer. There's no gate to peer through. I want to go see rich people who live strange lives and are living in their own weird bubble, so I can sit and watch and laugh at them.
Yes, absolutely. I have a question too, but I'm going to save it to the end because, okay, we got to get to Paige.
Yes.
Do you think she's making a mistake leaving Summer House?
No, she's not making a mistake. I mean, Paige is huge. She's so funny. Like, she's got to strike while the iron is hot. Like, she and Hannah are, like, selling out Radio City Music Hall.
They're crushing it.
She doesn't have to spend her summer doing this anymore. I think Bravo is making a mistake because they haven't really been able to foster more like female talent on Summer House. So that now that she's gone, I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I love Sierra, but like I'm not sure there's enough. We're gonna
have to see. What's the show like? You're on tour right now, and how can people come and see you?
Our live shows are we basically recap shows. Tonight we're going to recap the season premiere of Real Housewives of Miami, which happened last night, which is a great show. Everyone should watch it. We just have a great time. We go up there. It's very interactive. If you go to watchforcrappens.com, we have links to our tickets there. But it's great because, it's so hard. People are never on the same page about what they're watching. The water cooler effect doesn't happen anymore. Everyone's watching something else. So to have these live shows, all the Bravo fans can come together, and we just have a great time. And the audience is always great, especially in Seattle. I'm not just saying that because we're here. Literally, the Seattle audience is one of a kind. So it's very special whenever we come back here, and the energy is just sort of through the roof.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And this is my favorite question I have to get to. Who is your favorite Real Housewife of all time?
Countess Luann de Lesseps. She is my favorite, and I always, I get this asked a lot. And the reason why is she started out as a countess, and then she became like a Miss Manners lady, and then she started selling flatware and plates, and then she wound up getting divorced and then sleeping with a pirate in the Caribbean, literally. And then she and then she had a whirlwind romance. She got arrested. She became a cabaret star, and now she's this sex positive lady who also her big thing is eggs a la française. The fact that you can have all those weird aspects all rolled up into one.
One person?
Yeah, that's gotta be number one of all time.
Okay.
Gotta be.
I get it. Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here. You're so much fun. And
thank you for having me.
I can't wait to hear about your live shows.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yes, and don't miss Ben and Ronnie at Watch What Crappens tonight at the Neptune Theater. If you're a Bravo fan, this is a must-see. And when we come back, it's time to reveal our newest Hyundai hometown hero. Meet the deserving community member who's going home with a brand new Hyundai Santa Fe right after this.
It's a new day.
Welcome back. After weeks of nominating and voting, the time has come to reveal the winner of our 2025 Hyundai Hometown Heroes competition. It's been so inspiring to learn about all the heroes in your communities that you've nominated. And this year, we found ourselves at Seattle Humane with a woman who has a deep love of caring for pets of all kinds, along with our friends from Western Washington Hyundai dealers. Take a look.
As we came out of the pandemic, realizing that we had a need to recognize some of those amazing individuals. We talked about this a number of years ago. We found that we have communities within our dealerships, with our staff, with our customers. We wanted to reach out past our own little four corners or walls. We had over 200 nominees this year, and I think what's really important to notice is that there's excellence everywhere around us. And I think when we recognize that and celebrate that, it just makes all of us better.
Talk to me about the rescue for someone that hasn't heard of y'all.
Well, we don't do rescue typically like other rescues. Our focus is just on stray or lost, predominantly dogs. So when dogs get lost or get dumped, which is unfortunately happening a lot, they're not able to be caught because they've gone into flight mode or survival mode, and they basically run when you look at them. Most all the time it's via a trap. I mean, it's not that uncommon to hand recover, but you have to gain trust and have really yummy food. A lot of time I'm in the boonies, if you will, so I don't have cell phone coverage, my trail cameras aren't working, and I literally have to sit there, often in the freezing cold, waiting for an animal to show up.
How long have you been doing this for?
About 10 years.
Why do you love animals so much?
Because they always love you back. Dogs will not turn against you, or animals. Not to say I've never been bitten, but they're always loyal and eventually appreciative.
100%.
Yeah.
If you were to win this car, what would you do with it? I mean, how would this help you?
Oh, I currently have what I call the Wiggle Bus, which is a small bus. My prominent car is my truck, and it doesn't have a back. When I do catch an animal, if the animal is questionable on temperament, then they have to ride it in the back because they need to decompress. So, in this case, it is long enough to hold equipment and traps, and the gas mileage is much, much better. And then my mom, who is quite older, she has problems getting into my truck because it's lifted.
Yeah.
And so she would also benefit quite a bit.
Greatly. Well, thank you so much for everything you do. And we're gonna slowly just kind of walk down this way, and we're gonna get some shots too, and then.
Oh, they're already ready.
Surprise, Dee Dee. You
You're the
are the
winner.
Western Washington Hyundai hometown hero.
That's your car. Did we trick you?
Yes, you did. Hi.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Woo! And this is everyone else that's so excited for you.
And are these people from King 5 or?
They're Hyundai mostly.
Hyundai.
Yes.
It's our
Okay.
Western Washington Hyundai dealers.
Well, what's better than a Korean having a Korean car?
I'll have you
Right?
stand right next to it.
I'm only
Gigi.
half, but you have no idea how overwhelming this has been. And now I'm going to cry like a baby.
I know you're a little overwhelmed. How are you feeling? What's going through your mind?
My heart is pounding. I really, really can't believe this. The outpour of support from everybody has just been, I mean, that in itself made me a winner. Just hearing everybody root me on and give me positive comments, and win or lose, it's been an overwhelming experience, and having all these people come together has just been incredible.
Well deserved.
Made me feel very appreciated.
Absolutely.
Jim, can you tell Dee Dee a little bit about what she's won?
Well, as you can see, this is a puppy carrying machine.
Yeah,
I think cats are allowed too.
I do the hard to catch dogs,
Oh, all right.
or owls, or I'll help anything. But
This doesn't have wings, so you may have to get them on the ground closer.
Dang.
But it's one of the few things it doesn't do. But I think you'll find this to be an amazing vehicle. It'll serve you for years to come. And we're so enamored and amazed by what you do. I think the real winners are the people you touch every day, and the community that you bless with your presence and your work.
thank you very much. Maybe plexiglass on the sides that fold to protect the car, because I don't want to beat it up.
Right. Well, we almost need a modification department, maybe, right, guys? Do you want to name it? Wigglebutt or something like that?
Yeah.
The Wigglebutt Caravan?
So is this technically an SUV?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, it is. Has 3-row seating. Has
Yes.
some rear seat warmers.
What do
Yeah.
you want to say to everyone that nominated you that voted for you. Several people did. So what would you want to say to people?
Thank you from the bottom of my heart from me and all the dogs and animals that I'm going to be helping. Much appreciated.
Yeah.
Do you want to see some of the features in there too? We can show you around.
Get in there. It's your vehicle.
Okay.
We're just so grateful to be thought of for this and to be able to provide this surprise for Dee Dee. Here at Seattle Humane, we know how important community support is, and we're just so excited to see the community come out and support another rescue group. Dee Dee looks really excited, and I can't wait to see how she puts it to work rescuing pets in her area.
Well, a huge congrats again to Dee Dee, so deserving. And thank you to all of our viewers for nominating the heroes in your life. And a big thank you to Seattle Humane for hosting us for this surprise. They do obviously amazing work. To learn more about the awesome Hyundai Santa Fe that Dee Dee won, just visit the website that you see right there on your screen. And next, are you planning a project around your home this summer? After the break, Kitsap Credit Union is here to talk about smart, flexible ways to fund your next renovation.
This portion of New Day Northwest is sponsored by Hyundai.
Summer is here, and for many of us, that means it's finally time to tackle those home improvement projects that we've been putting off. Whether it's a new deck, updating your kitchen, or adding that dream outdoor space, funding those upgrades can sometimes be a big question mark. Joining us this morning to help answer that is Simon Powley, Chief Revenue Officer of Kitsap Credit Union. Welcome back.
Hey, great to be back. Thanks for having me.
My parents are actually starting to tackle a project right now, so this is very timely.
Okay, good.
So when people start thinking about home improvements, what are some smart ways that people can actually fund these big projects?
Yeah, let's dive into that. This is the season for that, as we know. You know, we're also seeing people staying in their homes a little bit longer because they're in longer interest rates. So people are looking, hey, if I'm going to be here for a little bit, what do I do and how do I tackle that? And it's a great season to do that. You know, the first thing I would recommend would be a home equity loan. What that's going to do is allow you to tap into the equity of your home. It gives you a little bit lower interest rate than traditional other financing measures, which we can talk about. It gives you fixed installments, so you can still stick to a budget and really determine how much you can afford on a monthly basis, but still be on an accrual basis where you're going to pay it off at the end of the day. So it's a great way to budget, set aside funds, and tap into that home equity at a low interest rate.
Yeah, that's a solid option. And what about something if you need maybe even more flexibility ongoing, or you're looking at like smaller projects?
Yeah, big fan of what we'd call a HELOC or a home equity line of credit. So similar to a home equity loan, but think of it as a credit card attached to your home. It gives you flexible spending. You can make a smaller down payment. You make smaller payments per month to allow you to do that. Gives you flexibility to kind of, you know, lever up and pay for the whole project and then begin to incrementally pay it down over a period of time. And usually, again, if it's tied to the home, it's a little bit lower interest rate and could have some potential tax deductions for you. So consult your tax advisor because maybe some ideas for you. There are some ways to save some money.
All the tips. Okay, what if someone doesn't want to use their home equity?
Yeah.
Is there any option for them?
Yes, of course. Of course. So then you can go to what we call an unsecured product. So, you know, we have through Kitsap Credit Union many unsecured products. You can do an unsecured loan, much the same way we just talked about, fixed amount, scheduled payments on a monthly basis to pay it off over, say, 3 to 5 years or whatever you're comfortable with from a budget perspective. Or you can do a traditional, you know, Kitsap credit card. And, you know, similar to anything else you'd use, we have low introductory rates, a low interest rate compared to a lot of our competitors. So you can use that to pay for things and then, again, set up either incremental loans and installment loans and installment payments over a period of time or pay it off as you'd like to.
Yeah, and I want to talk about the rates too. So how do credit union rates compare to others, would you say?
Yeah, so, you know, we've talked a little about this in this last segment. So we are member owned. So think of that. When you join a credit union, you're actually an owner and a member of that credit union. And so instead of paying back, you know, a quarterly basis or to shareholders, we pay back our members in terms of lower interest rates on loans and higher interest rates on deposit products. So from a competition perspective, we're in a really good place. We will pay back our members with lower interest rates traditionally than other financial providers.
Gosh, I mean, I'm loving that there's so many options and information. Yeah. How easy is it to apply to what we've talked about too?
Super easy. You can call our 1-800 number, which is very easy to apply for. You can stop into one of our locations and talk to one of our member specialists who will help you set up a budget, walk you through the process and support you through the whole time. Or you can go on our website and get some information.
And what if someone needs help just with online banking? Where would they go?
Traditionally, a lot of questions around that, right? One, I can tell you our mobile app and our online banking is extremely easy to use. But if you need tutorials, you can go online. We've got video tutorials to be able to walk you through that. It'll give you advice on how to leverage those, give you an opportunity to look at the different programs and services that we offer for our members. So it'll provide you all that information there right on the website.
It's nice to go to like a one-stop shop for everything too.
Absolutely.
Do you have any other final tips for folks that are thinking about financing their home improvement plans, and just some final words of wisdom?
Yes, well, I don't know about wisdom. But
you always you're spitting the wisdom.
You're very
okay.
kind. I don't know about that. But what I'd say is first, get a budget and go through the approval process. So if you want to apply for a home equity loan, go through that and get a budget in place and talk to one of our member specialists so you know what you can afford. Because you certainly want to budget and be conscious about how much you want to take on from an obligation perspective. Talk about the return on investment. If I remodel my kitchen or my bathroom, what does that really mean? And traditionally, there's more of a return on those than other parts of your home, say a deck or something like that. Here in the Northwest, we've got great equity in our homes, and we continue to build that, and we expect that to continue. So what are you really looking to accomplish with your equity in your home? So build a budget that's affordable so you can still save some money, still stay on time with your bills, and pay this off over a period of time, whatever's comfortable with you. And then find the right contractor, right, to be able to help you with and do that are reputable. There's lots of ways to go about that. And then dive into your project and get prepared for it to take longer than what you expect.
Ain't that the truth?
Yes.
We'll save that for another time. Thank you so much for being here.
Great
I
to be
appreciate
here.
it.
You betcha.
And if you're ready to bring your home improvement plans to life this summer, connect with Kitsap Credit Union online, by phone, or in person. And with a variety of financing options and expert advice, your dream home could just be a project away. And when we come back, we're in the kitchen with a plant-based chef and YouTuber who's got a recipe using strawberries and mushrooms. Stay with us.
Yeah.
This portion of New Day Northwest is sponsored by Kitsap Credit Union. This portion of New Day Northwest is sponsored by AARP and BECU.
It's a new day.
Welcome back. June is Brain Health Awareness Month, and whether you're looking to improve your memory or curious about the latest in brain health research, AARP and BECU have a resource for you. They recently joined the Allen Institute and UW's Memory and Brain Wellness Center to present Discovering the Science of the Aging Brain. No worries if you missed it. You can catch up with a full recording on AARP's website. Take a look as experts unlock the mysteries of the aging brain by delving into the latest scientific discoveries. They reveal how the intricacies of neuroscience can lead to new understandings, treatments, and programs to improve brain health. And finally, you'll learn about some practical steps you can take to safeguard and enhance your own cognitive health. The full recording, plus more tips and tools on brain health, can be found at the website that you see right there on your screen. And now we're back in the kitchen. My next guest has nearly 1.8 million subscribers on his YouTube channel, thanks to his inventive plant-based food, cooking, and countryside lifestyle content. Now the UK-based YouTuber Gaz Oakley is out with a new cookbook, Plant to Plate, and he's on tour making a stop right here in Seattle. We are so excited and honored to have you in our little kitchen.
I am so happy to be back in Seattle. It's great to be here.
Oh
I've
my
got some beautiful
gosh.
things to show you today.
You really do. What are we making today?
Right, so this is a bit of a, this is definitely inspired by my travels, this recipe. It's a recipe from the book, inspired by my travels to Jamaica, which had such a profound impact on me. And it's using oyster mushrooms, which I actually grow at home as well.
You grow these mushrooms at home?
I grow these in my bathroom, believe it or not. So when you step out the shower, you just see these alien-like mushrooms growing.
Why your bathroom? That's just...
They love the humidity, actually, so it works great. And it's a great thing if you can't grow anything, you may not have the space. You can grow mushrooms in your bathroom. And what we're doing is pressing them into steaks. So we're using this heavy cast iron lid, and we're going to apply some pressure. We're going to press them and bring out all the moisture so they actually become meaty. Everyone says mushrooms are meaty, but they're not really until you do things like this to them.
And so this you had to have high heat, right?
Yeah.
And then olive oil you sprinkled in,
Yeah.
and then you put these big oyster mushrooms that
these
you can
clusters.
grow in your bathroom,
literally can.
apparently.
These are actually small
it.
clusters compared to what I grow at home. I grow ginormous ones, bigger than the size of my head. They're unbelievable. But if you can't grow them, farmers markets. Oyster mushrooms, incredibly meaty.
How long are you pressing something like this down for that, like to get to the consistency that you want?
10-15 minutes.
Okay.
And then we'll introduce a marinade. So what I'm going to do is make this jerk oyster mushroom marinade. But I needed to incorporate something from my garden. And this is a bit weird and wacky, but I like to add some strawberries. Jamaicans, I'm sorry, this is no offense. This is my element of adding sweetness to the marinade, which is common in jerk marinade. So I thought I'll use some of my garden strawberries, because this book is all about utilizing fruits and vegetables in weird and wonderful ways. So we're going to get those in.
Yum.
Plus all the traditional stuff you'll see in a jerk marinade, like allspice, Scotch bonnet, thyme, scallion. I actually grow all this stuff too.
I can't believe you grow all of this in your garden. Your garden must just be like Cisco Morris. You would make Cisco very proud here.
It's changed my life completely. I grew up in cities, had no connection to nature, never grew anything before. But it was during COVID times when I decided to leave the city, leave London, and try and become a little bit more self-sufficient. And the impact that just connection to nature has had on me is changed my life for the better, really. I feel so calm and happy. And my well-being.
You seem that way. Like your zen is coming over to me. What all did you just pour in?
All right, so
what was that?
We've added some ginger, we've added some tomato paste, some soy sauce to add that umami-ness, some garlic, thyme. Don't think there's anything else. We'll get this lid on.
Okay.
We'll blitz this up into a marinade. And of course you can, we're not on. Where are we going with this?
Where are we?
There we go. Do you know what? There's always, I film my YouTube videos.
That's what people like though.
There's always an issue with the blender.
Really?
I don't know why, me and blenders just don't get on whatsoever. But look, because of the addition of those strawberries, look at the colour that you get there.
Seriously.
You've still got all of those rich flavours from like the Scotch bonnet.
I bet it smells, oh my gosh, it smells almost like jammy, but with the spice. Like you can feel, oh my gosh, the heat.
I actually love to cook outside over fire. And this is perfect for that, because you get that smoky flavour. But as you can see, we're sort of releasing some of that liquid.
Oh, yeah.
And that's really important. I apply a lot of pressure, and you want to get a real high heat for this. And eventually, it'll be time to flip them over. I would leave them for a little bit longer traditionally if I was doing this at home. But when you start seeing a bit of golden colour, you can flip them like so.
Why did you want to go completely plant-based too?
Oh, that's a bit of a long story. But I was actually weight training quite a lot. I left the kitchens where I was working. I was doing like 80-hour weeks. It was really intense. And with my spare time, I decided to start going to the gym and exercising. I was eating this colossal diet and it wasn't making me feel so good. So I thought I'd introduce some more plant-based foods, and it made me feel brilliant. So I've stuck to it. It's like 9 years now. But now it's so far from the way I used to eat, because I'm eating organic. I'm eating homegrown stuff. So it's going to make anyone feel good.
But you're like full plant-based. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's very easy when you walk out into your garden, you just pick.
Well, you walk
for
out of your bathroom and you get to pick some oysters.
Bathroom. Yeah. But like, this is an example of a dish from the book.
I know. What is this guy?
Which is what I would be eating at home right now. It's a summer garden salad full of just everything that's ready to harvest, from edible flowers to herbs to tomatoes to cucumber to beans to a huge variety of things. It's summer on a plate, that is.
Oh my gosh.
And that's what you can find in the book. Guys,
I know.
Okay. Home, you want to be getting your extractor fans on. You want to be turning this right up. We're on a bit of a go slow here, unfortunately. But what I would do at this stage is use this as a brush, thyme as a brush, or rosemary, and brush that on and get lashings.
You're
of that
not dirtying
sauce on.
another piece of, like appliance in your kitchen.
And bits of this will just break off onto the mushrooms too. And if it's on a really high heat, when that herb touches, it's going to release its aromas as well.
Oh my gosh. This is when we always say we need smell-o-vision. It's just absolutely amazing.
You can smell that allspice really nicely here.
Tell everyone about your YouTube channel too. You have so many subscribers. That's amazing.
Well, it's all a surprise to me, to be honest. I was very shy and nervous when I first started filming, a bit like I am right now. But
stop. You're adorable.
But it's grown and grown and grown, and now I'm able to travel to places like Seattle and meet amazing people that watch the...
Is that your garden?
That's my garden there, yeah. Oh, I miss it. I long for it. It's like a sanctuary to me nowadays, and I think that's what, having a green space or connecting to nature gives you. It gives you that comfort blanket that I longed for so long. And now I've got it,
And
I
on
feel
your
very
YouTube
blessed.
channel, are you showing people like recipes and lifestyle content, a little of everything?
Yeah, so it's how to grow, it's how to cook, it's how to connect, it's, you know, talking about maybe the weeds that we want you to overlook that I now use for cooking and herbal remedies. It's really just telling stories through food for me
Amazing.
anyway.
Okay, with
Yeah.
the Power TV, we're going to taste test
Yes,
too,
okay.
right?
So you want to cook these until they're super golden, really caramelized, super pressed and meaty, and they do shrink down quite a lot, as you can see here.
Yeah.
They shrink down an awful
Get a
lot.
little
We could get these on this board.
perfect.
I like to have a bit of the marinade on the side that you can just top these up. And these can be served with rice, they can be served with, you know, greens, anything really, or in a sandwich.
I'm gonna
you
just
got a little
dive in
piece there,
right
yeah?
here. I don't even need to cut it. I'm going in. Oh my gosh. Holy moly.
Yeah.
That is so that marinade.
Thank you. Yeah, well, I can't take all the credit. Jamaica has some of the best produce and flavour bases from like Scotch bonnets and stuff like that, but incorporating the strawberries add that sweetness and that caramelization.
Thank you so much for
No
being here.
worries.
This was so much fun cooking with you. And thank you to you all for spending time with us today. You can check our website for more of our content, and you can always send us an email to share your thoughts. Don't forget to enjoy your new day, and we'll see you next time.
Some segments of New Day Northwest are paid for by these fine sponsors: